I think I'm just a little out of it because it's the holidays. This is like expectation that you should be happy during the holidays. Maybe some people are. Holidays have always been a hard time of the year for me. Don't really know exactly why, but if you don't feel great around the holidays, maybe give yourself some slack. You're probably not the only one. I'm definitely, the Christmas blues come for me. Bring up old things that happened. Old bad events. I was going to do a light stretch today, nothing crazy. That's something that don't do nearly enough of, is stretching. See, when you're younger, you don't have to stretch that much. A little bit, but you stay pretty loose. As you get older, it's like fascinating how tight and like weak everything gets. Makes sense though. I think December is like the deadliest month of the year, or like the most heart attacks or something. Like, yeah, people get less sunlight and all that, but it's the stress of the holidays. Like commercially, it's not really talked about a lot. It's just like a commercial of a kid getting a puppy for Christmas and like families and like just only good things, but there's a lot of stress around the holidays, like before, during, after. I think most divorces happen right after Christmas. I think maybe January. I think that's when my parents actually got divorced. Maybe that's why I hate Christmas. No, I don't hate Christmas. It's just weird. Like, there's so much pressure. Like, all the women in your life, like the pressure with gifts and cooking and who's going where. It doesn't have this, it's like, they did it last year, why do we have to go there? Like in the movies, it's just perceived as like this like fluid, easy, fun time, and I have like writer's block. It's weird. Yesterday I had no problems like wanting to talk about certain things, but just been like in a daze. Just the stress of what's going on in like my personal life, and then the holidays on top of that really brings to the surface, like if you're dealing with other problems. I had like a unexpected career change, and it's weird. I don't even know if I'll post this on the internet. Like, does this help people? Do people want to hear or see other people like struggling? Like, does it make them feel better? Does it give them like some, I don't know, like makes them feel better that someone else is also struggling? But that's my problem with short form. Like, everything always seems so good. Like this sentiment couldn't be a short form video. Some guy sitting on his basement floor just talking to the camera. It seems highly unusual. It's also very unnatural because I don't know who I'm talking to. I guess once you have an audience and like you have your avatar or whatever, you know who you're talking to, and people like have a dialogue in the comments. But for all I know, this is just going out into the abyss and not helping anyone. But expectation is a big function of like how good you feel, or like how successful you feel. Like, some of the happiest people in the world actually come from like really poor places. Their expectation, and some of the most unhappy people in the world come from like penthouses in Manhattan. Like a rich kid from the Upper West Side is addicted to pills, and then like a kid who didn't even have a roof for the first year of his life or whatever, like in some like developing country, is like extremely satisfied in life. And they're older, they're driving a cab, and like they're just happy to have their family, and they don't have like these crazy expectations. If your expectations is like be a rich entrepreneur with like a perfect family and health and like all these like big cool goals, like unfortunately, you trade those goals for like being unhappy. I think Naval, if you don't know who Naval is, he's a author and entrepreneur, investor, but has Naval's Almanac is like a book that some guy put together of a lot of like Naval's best teachings. Highly, highly recommended. But I think he says in that like the price you pay for ambition is unhappiness, or something like that. Because like once you're not just completely content with what you have, there's a part of you that's going to be unhappy while you chase this thing. It's very difficult to be perfectly at peace and just like radical acceptance of what you have, and also chasing a really big goal or really big dreams. That's where I guess some wisdom or personal development comes in to like manage those negative feelings where you still keep drive to do the things you want to do. I don't know. But these videos will get better. I just wanted to record today because like maybe there is one person in the world who like feels shitty around the holidays, and then you see someone else like, oh, that person also feels kind of shitty around the holidays, and it's like, all right, at least I'm not in this alone. Why? I don't know. It could have been trauma. It could have been you were poor growing up, or well, there could be a million reasons why. Or maybe like currently you're just not doing as well as you would like in life, and being around friends and family, like bringing, hey, what have you been doing this last year or whatever, brings that to the surface. I know that's been like something with me. All right. So if there was one lesson for today, it'll be don't avoid the things that make you stressed or anxious. Sometimes it feels like the last thing that you want to do is like that thing, go to your aunt's house or do the presentation, whatever it is. Whatever the thing is that's making you anxious, don't avoid it. Like when you avoid something that makes you anxious, you give it power, and it temporarily decreases your anxiety because you don't have to face that thing. But in the long term, it increases your anxiety. So think about the type of person you want to be. Do you want to be someone who just is always looking for instant gratification and then has like failures in the future? Or do you want to be someone who takes on a little bit more difficult challenge up front for long-term satisfaction? So like, if you want to play the long game, if something's making you anxious, do it. And I've been in a position where that sounds easier than it is. I completely understand. Sometimes it feels like just getting out of bed is like a hurdle, and like you can't imagine talking to people, or like the nervous system is so unbelievably powerful. Like it's the only reason we're all still alive is the nervous system. So to like just say, oh, I'm a little nervous or it's nerves, is not giving it justice. It's connected to every part of your physiology. Your immune system, your digestive system, everything is connected to the nervous system. And when it detects something, stress or anxiety is high, it puts its little tentacles into everything and it grabs you. It's super powerful. So I'm not downplaying the strength of it, and sometimes it feels like you can't do it, but you do always have a choice. You can always do the thing, and when you don't avoid the thing that makes you anxious, you remove the power from it. So today's lesson, something makes you anxious, go try it out. Whether it's an ice bath or just showing up to dinner, you don't have to be entertaining or anything, just whatever it is, do one thing that you've been avoiding or that makes you anxious, do it knowing that every rep, every time that I do it, I remove a little bit of its power. And you start to rewire the brain where avoidance is no longer your strategy. And as you show the brain that I'm going to go towards the things that make me stressed, they start to just diminish. And that starts to become a new characteristic of you. And mental health will improve. Not always instantly. I've been in that position too, where you read something or you hear some friggin' hippie sitting on his basement floor telling you some tip, and you try it, it doesn't work. And you're like, oh, fuck, am I broken? Like, was this supposed to work sooner? Like, what's going on? And no, that's just not the way it always works. Sometimes there's like these breakthroughs where people feel great right away, but oftentimes it takes reps. It takes time for emotions to move and for things to reset and your gut health to improve a little bit, whatever it is. So the best thing that you could do is like a plan that you know is going to work. Like we know that avoidance of things, like psychology is pretty clear on this. The avoidance of things will make that thing scarier. and addressing your fears diminishes them. So at least you know you're on the right track. We're not saying that track's going to feel great, but you're on the right track. So like just keep doing it. And I don't know if you're going to feel better in 6 months or a year or 6 days, but you will feel better. And that should give you some peace and just like, all right, I'll feel a little bit better if I do the thing that I don't want to do. And maybe I'm beating this point home, but so many people avoid the things that make them stressed, and it ends up making them more stressed. But I just been yapping here. I gotta get a workout in or something. We hung, we did some leg stuff. Christmas Eve plunge. Let's do it. We got some snow last night. Snow in the shoes. Got a brick of ice today. Break her up. This was a little bit harder. Today's Christmas Eve. Maybe some of you love the holidays. Holidays always seem to bring on extra stress. When you have extra stress in your life, these cold plunges tend to be a little harder. You don't sleep as much, you lift too much, like work out too much. Or just emotional stress like the holidays or other things going on. This will make you focus a little bit more. But we still got in here, and this is really tough. These 32-degree plunges, they're good, fun challenge, but not necessary. I think like high 30s is a good place to be. Definitely don't need as long when it's this cold. A couple minutes, few minutes, gets the job done. Wakes you up, proves to your inner bitch that you still got something in the tank, sets you up for a fun day. Freezing.